Thanks for joining St. George News at 8. I'm Scott Beadle. A 2-year-old is dead after being left inside a van in Washington County. It happened around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. First responders were dispatched for a report of an unresponsive child at a residence in Winchester Hills. The child was dead by the time responders got to the scene. The child's name has not been released, but kidsandcars.org did confirm the child was a girl. The child was attending a family reunion in the area with more than 5 families and between 25 and 35 children. Authorities say it is suspected the child fell asleep and didn't leave the car with the other kids, and the adults didn't realize it at the time. The incident is under investigation, though authorities say it appears to be a tragic accident. The Brian Head fire continues to grow. It has now consumed over 43,000 acres.
It's a lot of memories there, a lot of them.
Sam Mofford is worried sick.
So I don't know how it's going to turn out. I really don't.
The Brian Head fire now threatening his nearly 50-year-old cabin home. Flames that have already destroyed several properties and tens of thousands of acres.
I'm just really concerned about so many people that are working up here, because I can't imagine what they're going through on a daily basis, and we're just so appreciative of their hard work.
Residents being allowed to go into their cabins for 15 minutes this morning at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and 12 p.m. Just a few moments to salvage what for some is a lifetime of memories.
Pictures, all kinds of stuff like that for over the years, just like a home.
Today, as every day, the focus is on keeping the fire from spreading. But high winds and potential lightning from the thunderstorms could make that nearly impossible.
If it switches and comes back, our cabin's gone.
If we get high winds, then it's going to become a safety issue, and we'll have to back those firefighters off until it's a time when it's safe for them to get in there. That growth might lead to less containment overall.
Winds also forcing new evacuations in the upper Bear Valley near the northeast section of the blaze. But while uncertainty about their properties loom, residents are certain about one thing: how grateful they are to the men and women battling the flames.
Recent restoration efforts on the historic Tabernacle in downtown St. George include the application of historically accurate paint colors to the building's tower and trim. Construction on the 19th century edifice has been ongoing since June of last year in an effort to both modernize its structural integrity and more accurately portray the way it looked back in 1876. The original paint color was found underneath about a dozen layers of paint and was found to be in contrast from the various shades painted over it. Once it is repainted, the exterior renovations will be nearly complete, and scaffolding is expected to come down within the next 2 months. The building's interior will then be worked on next. Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Dr. Tom Price, is in Utah today to discuss the Senate's bill to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Last week, the Senate released a discussion draft of the Better Care Reconciliation Act. Senator Mike Lee voiced his opposition just hours after that legislation was released. Lee joins 4 other GOP senators, saying the new plan will not accomplish the promise made to Americans to repeal Obamacare and lower health care costs. The Utah Health Policy Project says Obamacare is working well in Utah despite its political baggage. However, the new GOP plan does have support in the state from Senator Orrin Hatch. Price wrote an op-ed before his visit to the state, praising Hatch for his work on the bill to allow states to tailor healthcare programs according to their needs. The Supreme Court will allow a modified version of the president's temporary travel ban to go into effect. The court will actually hear and rule on the case in the fall, but the Trump administration is already calling it a victory. Lana Zach is covering it all from the Supreme Court.
Visitors coming into the United States without a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the U.S. can, in fact, be turned away, the Supreme Court announced, supporting in part the White House's temporary travel ban. In a statement, President Trump called this a clear victory for our national security, but the reality may be more nuanced.
What the Supreme Court did with the travel ban order was surprising. It wasn't a big win for the administration. It wasn't a big loss for the administration. It really did split the baby.
Here's why. While the court decided to overturn the lower court's injunction against the travel ban, allowing it to go into effect, they provide an exception for people who have relatives in the U.S., students accepted into universities here, and workers employed by American companies. a move that prompted dissent by 3 of the more conservative justices, Thomas, Alito, and the court's newest member, Gorsuch, who wanted to allow the full travel ban to take place with no additional exceptions offered by the court. Opponents argue, though, that even allowing part of the ban to go forward is a setback, especially for refugees from any of the 6 majority Muslim countries that are identified in the ban.
The fact that this is a temporary suspension gives us no comfort at all. Our clients' lives are in danger right now. They're facing ongoing threats, and by delaying their cases for 10 days or 20 days or 120 days, that means that they could be killed while they're waiting for the Supreme Court to make a decision on this case.
The court will plan to hear the full case in the fall, but the rewritten travel ban is supposed to be a temporary action lasting only 90 to 120 days. Thus, that ban may have expired before the court actually hears the case in full. Chief Meteorologist Chris Summers has your Southern Utah forecast right after this.
The weather tonight is brought to you by AWI Networks. Smarter Internet.
And welcome back, everyone. A good Monday evening to you. Still seeing a few watches and warnings across the area, mainly for all the hot, dry weather we've seen all the weekend. That's going to continue right through the work week as well. Our last week of June looking very hot and very dry here in southern Utah. And for that reason, a red flag warning in effect. Again, a very big fire danger out there, of course, with all the dry weather. And of course, with the excess wind we're being seen too, those gusty winds have been out of the southwest as high as 20 miles per hour. And that's going to continue here the next couple of days. Also seeing that excessive heat warning down to our south end through parts of southern Nevada, also northwestern parts of Arizona. So seeing that excessive heat warning as well. Here's a look at our temperatures from today. 105, the high temperature over in Hurricane, 96 degrees. The high temperature Cedar City, 94 Enterprise, 106 here in St. George, 112 down in Mesquite, and 109 in Las Vegas. Now for tonight, we fall back into the upper 50s, mainly clear skies around Cedar City, low 70s in most everywhere else across southern Utah, 71 degrees a low in St. George and Mesquite, and 70 degrees a low temperature in Hurricane. Again, winds die down a little bit overnight, down to maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're going to pick up once again as we head through the day on our Tuesday. And in Cedar City, we'll see mainly sunny skies once again as those hot, dry weather continues. We'll see a high reaching 93 degrees, west-southwest winds. Could be gusting as high as 20 miles per hour by the afternoon. St. George in for your Tuesday. Yeah, more of the same. A lot of sunshine expected. Temperatures near 102 by the afternoon, but those winds will be gusty. West-southwest winds could be as high as 20 miles per hour once again as we head to the afternoon hours of our Tuesday. So really going to keep the same weather going. May drop temperatures a few degrees by the time we get to the end of the work week. Still going to see triple-digit heat across our area. No big cool down anytime soon, that's for sure. And really going to see that jet stream stay to our north. That means that high pressure that has weakened a little bit down to our south, so not quite as warm, but still going to see temperatures in the triple digits here in southern Utah the next couple of days, and even through the rest of the work week and into the upcoming weekend. Really not seeing any big relief from the heat anytime soon. Temperatures for your highs then as we get into your Tuesday around Cedar City, 93. Also Enterprise at 93 degrees, sunny, breezy. Have to watch those winds once again. Southwest winds as high as 20 miles per hour. Around southern Utah and St. George, 102 the high temperature. Again, breezy, warm, and temperatures will continue warm out there. We'll call it hot actually, with west-northwest winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. 7-day forecast for Cedar City. Yeah, low 90s the next several days as we go through the weekend. Actually get into the weekend. Still seeing temperatures close to 95 by Saturday. And for southern Utah and St. George, again, triple digits. We're going for 102 as we head to Tuesday, Wednesday. So again, not quite as warm as we were over the weekend. Over the weekend, we saw highs close to 110, but still going to warm those temperatures up a little bit by Saturday, Sunday. Close to 105 on Saturday, 102 on Sunday. But one thing lacking once again is the amount of rain. Not seeing any rain in the forecast. Next 7 days looking pretty dry here in southern Utah.
Yeah, we could definitely use that rain, but at least we're trying to have a double-digit high.
Yeah, we're trying to get back down to those double-digit highs, but it looks like we're going to keep the triple digits around. But one thing, too, is that wind. If we get rid of the wind, that would help with some of that fire danger out there as well. We'll work on that, too.
Thanks, Chris. We'll be right back. For the 14th year, the annual World Naked Bike Ride made its way back to Portland, and the hot weather did not keep people away. Saturday night, about 10,000 took to the streets wearing very little to participate in the ride. Many of the riders decorated their bikes and did either cover themselves in body paint or with some creative costumes. Participants were also encouraged to wear shoes and helmets for safety reasons. Organizers say the reason for the ride is a protest against the use of fossil fuels. Thanks for watching.
We hope you have a great night.